Alright, hi everyone. I just wanted to do a quick run through of the health and lifestyle questionnaire that we've been working on Thursday. Excuse me. So for the guys that weren't here and for the guys that were, just a quick kind of talk through to look at sort of the things that we want to include and the level of detail that we'd like to see in this piece of work. So if you can make sure you get this done over the weekend, have it ready to go on Monday, so then we can start moving on and looking at planning some exercise. So we went through and did the detail on informed consent. Obviously, if you were going to be working with your client, so whoever you're working with in class, for the guys that weren't there, you're happy to use a friend or family member, that's totally fine. So if I just do this for as if it was for me. So client's name is going to be me. For you, it will need to be somebody else. So you cannot be your own client. You have to have somebody else's information in your portfolio. Today's date is the 5th of November, 21. So we put that in there. Then obviously read through the details of your informed consent with your client. Make sure they know exactly what they're agreeing to. Client's then going to sign and pop their name in underneath here. Okay, then you as the trainer, you will then sign and obviously date. Important stuff. Straightforward. You should also have a PAR queue. I'll make sure that that's attached via email because it's not actually in this document. Okay, so again, really straightforward, nice and simple. Give birth. Pop in an address and postcode. A contact number. Okay, again, guys, obviously in terms of GDPR, data protection, if you're not happy to give your actual details, obviously this isn't actually my stuff, that's totally fine. As long as you've given an actual address and a reasonable phone number, I'm not going to call up and check. Alright guys, so just make sure you've got some good information in there. Right, how would you describe your level of experience in the gym? Well, if we're a super beginner, we might say something like, I've never been in the gym before. It might be that you've got a little bit of experience. It might be that you've got a lot of experience. So use your English skills, your communication skills with your client. Okay, so been a member of a gym for a couple of years and I've done some basic cardiovascular and weight training work. Current level of fitness. So let's think about how would your kind of non-exercise professional, how would they measure fitness? What markers would we have? So, can you walk upstairs without getting out of breath? Can you walk to the shops? Do you feel like you could walk the dog or go for a couple of hours walk without too much of a problem? And then again, kind of some of our other basic components of fitness. So we might think about flexibility, coordination, balance, movement skills. So you might get a client that You might have a client that maybe used to be a dancer or something. They're like, yeah, you know what, I've got pretty good flexibility, coordination, and balance. You know, I can move pretty well. I'm just actually not very fit. So think about a little bit of detail there. Ask your client some questions. Don't just put good. Let's have a little bit of detail here. So current level of daily activity. So guys, daily activity refers to any sort of activity that they do that isn't structured exercise. This might include if you have a particularly active job, if you have to walk, cycle, however, to get to work or college. So I would say I walk 45 minutes to college and back 3 times a week, and I have an active job that involves carrying boxes up various flights of stairs. Again, I'm just kind of making this up on the spot here, guys, just to sort of give you a bit of an idea as to the content that you'd want to put in there. So next one, what exercise or activity has your client done in the past? So I might say played rugby. As I said earlier, I used to be a dancer. Not me, it's just an example. Being in the gym occasionally for the past 2 years. Something like that. If you've got, so for like me, I'm 34, I wouldn't include what I did when I was 5 years old. What have you done in the last sort of 5-6 years? Okay, so what leisure activities do I take part in? Well, as I said, I occasionally go to the gym. I like to go swimming occasionally. Cool, so we'll leave that as that. So again, just talk to your client, think about what they're saying, and add some detail in here. So what does your client like and dislike? So we might think about, I really like doing cardiovascular training, particularly the rowing machine. However, I don't really like lifting weights. Okay, so it might be an opportunity for a discussion there, thinking about sort of the hows and whys. So why does your client like doing CV training? Why do they like the rowing machine? Why don't they like lifting weights? So an opportunity for you to kind of bond and get to know your client a little bit better, break down some of those barriers. Do you have any medical concerns or disabilities that your instructor should know about? So for me, as I've said before, I'm a type 1 diabetic, so my trainer would definitely need to know about that. But you could just put none, and obviously that's totally fine. So now we've got the basic information out of the way, guys. So now we can start thinking about, why is your client here? What is it that they're hoping to achieve? So the first thing is, look, what do we want to achieve from your exercise program? So it's often quite useful to think about client language and PT language here. So your client might come to you and say, oh, I want to get really fit. I'd like to look good for my holiday. I would, I want to be a bit stronger, I want to be a bit leaner, what have you. And it's our role to kind of take that and use our knowledge and understanding of fitness and training to break that down into a SMART goal. So, let's go with something really kind of stereotypical and classic. I'd like to lose a bit of weight and tone up my arms. Okay, cool. So that's client language, so that's absolutely fine if that's kind of what they come in with, because again, we need to remember that we are the experts in the room. Our clients are by no means, by no means expect them to be experts in kind of fitness. So we now need to kind of translate this. We need to think about, what does this mean? So for me, looking at this is like a body fat kind of goal. So we have a body composition goal, so we want to kind of maybe lose a little bit of body fat, gain a little bit of muscle. So look at this, I would just make this as simple as possible. So I'm just going to go lose a bit of weight. So generally speaking, let's go with 6 kilograms of body weight. So we need our SMART goal to be specific. So we need this kind of number attached to it. When we come to our M, our measurable, so we want to say, how are we going to measure this? When are we going to measure this? So measured on the scales in kg, 1 time per week, Monday morning, before breakfast. Cool. So achievable. So what's quite nice to make your life a little bit easier, guys, is to skip now, fast forward all the way down to the time frame. Now, from last week, we said we want to do a 12-week goal, an 8-week goal, and a 4-week goal. So this first one's going to be our long-term goal. So if we take 6 and we divide it by 12, what that means is that we've got to lose 0.5 kg loss per week over 12 weeks. Okay, so our guidelines for weight loss is 0.5 to 1 kilogram per week, which is absolutely slap bang the sort of the bare minimum. Okay, so that's absolutely achievable. If we were asking them to lose 1, 2, 3, 4 kilograms per week, then is that really going to be achievable for our client? Probably not. And then relevant. So we can then link this back to what they've said. So the client wants to lose a little bit of weight, tone up their arms. So I'd say something like, client will also aid in cool. So I just say losing the fat mass will also aid in adding a little bit of definition to their arms as well. So what I would then do, guys, is I would just really, the easiest way that you can do this is to kind of just chop this down into an 8 and 12 week goal. However, a little bit of stretch and challenge, you might also want to talk about linking some goals here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go and do some fairly random goals, just so you can sort of see what some other goals might look like. So we might, if our client said they want to get a little bit stronger, so we might say to increase strength, let's say increase 1 rep max on deadlift from 80 kg to 100 kg. Measurable. So we're going to measure using a 1 rep max test, which we'll look at when we get onto your level 3 kind of stuff. And we'd say that once per month. Are achievable, so they've got to gain. So again, we're going to fast forward. Sorry, guys. We need to kind of think about how long is it going to take them to add 20 kgs to their max deadlift. Now, again, I'm probably going to say that this is going to be a 12-week, sort of 3-month goal. So if we go 12 divided by 20 divided by 12, so we're going to use our calculator. So we're going to go 20 divided by 12 gives us 1.6 kilograms per week to add on. And I would say that adding roughly 1.5 kilos per week is achievable. If it was sort of 3, 4, 5 kilos per week onto their deadlift, then that's going to, across the phase of that 12 weeks, is going to present a bit of a challenge. So you need to have 1.66 kg per week to 1 RM deadlift. You could also do that in sort of months or every 4 weeks. So we could go, what's 1.66 multiplied by 4? So sort of roughly 7 kg All right, so relevant. So then it might be, okay, well, why does my client want to be stronger? It could be that wants to increase strength for football. Could be just something as simple as that. Again, talk to your client, get them to explain why they want to achieve that goal. So lastly, again, let's look at a 12-week goal again. And let's go, okay, my client wants to have abs for their holiday. So specific, so we might talk about achieve let's assume that my client is female, so let's probably actually go sub 20% body fat. So for a female, that's reasonably lean and athletic. 15% is pretty shredded for a female. So measuring, so we could either use skin fold calipers. We could use what's called our bioelectric. Scale. So for example, the scales that we've got in our classroom, they have this feature on them where we can use them to track our body fat. So 20%, obviously we need to know where this person is now. So let's say that she is currently at 25%. So we'd put that in there as well. So achievable, so she's got to lose 5% in 12 weeks. So we're going to go 5 divided by 12. So let's call it 0.4, so let's call it 1% every 2 weeks. Which again is going to be kind of reasonably achievable. Again, it's going to vary from person to person, but that's not a bad target really, to lose 5% body fat over the course of 3 months. I'd say that's totally doable. And the reason for this is the client wants to look great for their holiday, which is totally understandable and totally reasonable. So we talked, moving on guys, we talked very briefly about barriers. So I don't know how to train, maybe a client eating and diet. I have a very busy job and struggle to get to the gym. All these things are really sort of classic barriers. Okay, so these are just sort of 3 real sort of standard examples that you could use. Let's say your client's got 3 times by 1 hour slots. Ideally, we'd want to go, I don't know, let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Cool. So that's probably enough in there. Right, so then we're going on to our BMI. So we're going to do some testing. So we want their height. So I'm going to go 1.75 meters. Let's say that I am 85 kg. So then we need to work out our classification. So if we remember from yesterday, to work out our BMI, it's our weight in kilograms divided by our height in meters squared. So first thing we need to do is calculate our height in meters squared. So I'm 1.75 and I'm going to multiply that by 1.75. I'm not going to add them together, I'm not going to times it by 2. So I'm going to times it by itself because it's got to be squared. So I'm going to get 3.06. So what I'm then going to do is I'm going to take my weight, which is 85 kilos. I'm going to divide that by 3.06. That's going to give me a score of 27.7. Okay, so 27.7, which is going to give me a classification of being overweight. Okay, so we could even use this to help set our client's goal. So if we can look at our BMI chart, this should come up. So find my weight, so 85, 175, so 27, there we go. We can even look back here, we can go, okay, well, let's get a healthy BMI to reduce your risk of disease and ultimately an early death. We want you to maybe get down towards sort of 75 kilos, so a reduction of 10 kilos, and you can use that to set a goal. So your goal might be, okay, client, your goal is to lose 10 kilos of body weight. We're going to measure this on the scales once a week on a Monday. It's achievable. We're going to lose our 0.5 to 1 kilogram per week. Relevant to get you into that healthy BMI category. And then time frame, think about how long we might give this person. But again, if we're thinking 12 weeks, 10 kilograms, that's certainly in the ballpark of being achievable. Okay, so last couple of bits here, guys. So how have you or how would you provide your client with sensitive feedback regarding their physical testing? So I would use our, so we want to think about that praise, criticism, praise, the old poop sandwich. So we'd say we use the PCP method to highlight the positive elements, give them the constructive feedback in a good manner. We also might think about where would we discuss this. So we might think about maybe taking them to a private room in the gym. You should in the gym have like little consultation rooms or like an office or something, rather than having them stand in the middle of the gym floor, giving them that potentially sensitive information. Think about the language that you use. Think about how you're going to frame that information. And then lastly, what are your recommendations for your client to work towards a healthy lifestyle? So number one, let's think about have a healthy, protein-rich breakfast. For example, poached egg on toast. Number two, we might say drink at least 2 litres of water every day. Three, we might think about try to what's the word? Do at least 30 minutes of moderate exercise per day, e.g. walking. 4, maybe sleep 7 to 8 hours at night, because sleep is essentially where we get our gains. And 5, maybe take a healthy packed lunch to college every day to stop you from eating pizza from Woody's. Okay guys, so as I said, just relatively quick, sort of 25-30 minutes. Try and make sure you add some detail. Set 3 good SMART goals that are relevant to your client. Again, this could be your partner from class, or could equally be a friend, family member, anything like that. Hope that helps, guys. If any questions, ping me an email. Try and make sure this is all done for Monday. And I will see you there. Have a great weekend. Bye.